11's enough, I guess. First and foremost, I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Oh, hold on. Am I hold on? Testing, testing. All right, cool. Like I was saying, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for giving me your time because I know that each of you can be busy or are busy. So I respect and appreciate you for giving me your time. Welcome to the first ever BWE 2 Barbaric for TV press conference. For starters, for those of you that did not know, that our good chairman, well, previous chairman, Lopez, aka Bairdman, has officially retired from, well, AM, basically as both a wrestler and a Fed owner. And he left his admin in charge, and basically that I've took the step on being the new owner of this organized, long developed company called BWE. And so coming back with a revival this season and hopefully aiming for at least a full year strong. Um Reason I called for a press conference is because I want to break down the vision and the aim for this season to come before we actually get into the season. I also want to talk about new structures that I want to put in development or that I have in development already starting up because this season is going to be a game changer. It's going to be a new season. It's going to be something different and I want you guys to be familiar with it or have some kind of idea of what to expect before it happens. Um, we'll also be doing Q's and A's just in case you guys still have questions, which would be answered by either me or Lopez, or if any of the admin come and you have a question for them, then they can also answer it. They can. Um, is it okay that I can actually talk about who's on the admin board now since like no. All right, that's good. Okay, so our admin board consists of, well, names you'd probably be familiar with or you probably come across, former BWE talent or talent that want to come back and help expand BWE this season. So we have people like Elite Alvin, we have Evan Christianor, we have Ivory Michelle, we have Noah Rourke, we have Adang from MECW, we also have still Murphy, yeah, Murphy, and we also have Farron, forgetting to include myself as well. So basically, this would be our head of admin team. Um, so I want you guys to be familiar with them and know who it is because this only a one person job, and I believe that without having a team structure, that this wouldn't be possible or that this wouldn't be in development as we are currently speaking. Um, so speaking of which, I'd like to start by give me a second. I'll go into my notes.
Oh, I
About the
didn't.
breakdown of. I didn't hear you. Anyway, so we're talking about the breakdown of what's to come this season. Um. Okay, so this season I was looking for a new dynamic. I was looking at something that could probably be used in AM today, but at the same time, we gotta hope that it comes together, and I really hope that we can pull it off or be like. And so, some of the things I want to discuss is that with all the stuff that happened the past previous seasons with BWE, it built and it created a story, and I realized that during the final months of last season that we were trying to focus on good storytelling. And so this season, I want you guys to expect that we will be having a lot of long-term storytelling, meaning that in which you guys that are concerned or asking about being put into storylines or like being set up for this kind of build or stuff. Just want you to know that each one of you, I've taken a list of who is still active currently on the roster, and I want to say that each and every one of you have a plan and the storylines coming up. You were not forgotten. I've have you down on the list, and I've have plans on each and every one of you. Um, we do have a lot of main focuses because, like in every company, you have cornerstones, but I'm gonna reveal to you guys who the cornerstones are. At the moment, I'll just let you guys figure it out on your own as the story develops. So I want you to think of this season as a story, and you guys have a part of playing your own role in the story, which means that there is possibility that you can be the main character, or that if you are doing such a great job that admin can like ignore you for how good you were doing, that you can insert yourself into being like a main character or a main player. I have hopes and I have faith in each and every one of you because in my eyes I see you guys as great talent. I've came across from some of you during previous matches in my past seasons, or came across you this season that just passed. For those that I haven't, then I mean, I've watched some of the matches from the pay per views that some of you might be featured on, and like I said, I see that a lot of you have the potential, and you guys have potential star power, but you have to have the extra push. You got to be determined. I've seen that some of you made the push last season, where as you been as active as possible, you were supportive, and don't think that you've gone unnoticed. There are a few gems within you, some of them being inside of this press conference right now listening. Um, I've acknowledged you doing what you're doing or try to expand yourself to be better. Because, like I said, this season we're going to be more organized and not only in storytelling, but we are going to be more organized with creating our divisions. As you know, BWE has about like 600 titles, clowning, but we have about like 6 or 7 titles, and we feel as though I feel as though that in order to tell a proper story, that you will have to organize how the title transitioned and the story behind the titles. So I've decided that this season we're gonna start crafting you guys into respective divisions, and so you will see a ping from me later on, probably this week, where I would ask you guys to like resubmit gimmick infos if you could. I will make a list of the divisions that will be open, and I'll let you know what the roster limit is, what I'm looking for. With BWE in total, I think that we can get a roster of about at least 50 or 60 superstars if pushed to such a great extent, because you know that we aren't kind of a bad company. You know that we have a certain rep. I would like to diminish from other people. Um, I've been talking to people. I've been talking to people. I've been trying to break my neck at the moment, even though that moment I'm kind of busy with, like I mentioned, the emergency that I had earlier. I still reached out to people, whereas in trying to craft partnerships with the AM, with feds of the AM community, some rising, some already known as big feds, but we're still in negotiation. But I can promise you that you may be seeing a lot new faces or faces that you won't expect to pop up. So be on the lookout for those. With that being said, just because we have the new faces and stuff popping up doesn't mean that they're taking away your chance, because that's not really what it is. I do believe in hometown growth. So, like I said, I like to see superstars grow on their home turf, and I only feel as though that it's respectable that us as creative staff builds our talent instead of building someone else's talent. I'm not saying that we're going to destroy their talent, but at the same time, we have to make our talent more credible as possible, so that when names like that come up, that there won't be a argument or a huge discussion on whether, it's good to put him with this person, or this person should go over rather than that person. Say for example, we have someone like Levon Brooks, and say we have him defend the underground title against someone like Dallas. And then, you're gonna have people that come to us and they be like, that's not really a good idea because Dallas has done this, Dallas has done that, Dallas is up here. And then, like, you look at someone like Levon, and Levon only basically has like credibility as being underground's top star. He hasn't made it to the main roster or anything like that. Like, he has no credibility under that. And so we're gonna work on trying to make that not a issue this season to the best of our abilities. Um Also, speaking of that, I'm gonna give you a forerun on how I tend to look at the divisions. With the world title division, I'm not gonna just allow every and anyone to contend. I actually do need certain credentials for that division, because the world title is the biggest title to have in the company, and you really need to look at who you have as the face of your company. And so I feel as though that I can only take about probably 10 persons who I can see for at least this season, or at least for right now, that could probably a good name under the world title belt, like representing the company. That is including your current champion Gary, who I think is doing a good job, because even though BWE isn't active right now, he's still going about to other feds, showing off the title. Still, if he is doing a few defenses, so I really can commend him for his valiant effort of making nothing, well, making something out of nothing. We also have people like Northia Faye, who was built off of BWE basically, and she's going about to other feds, and she is really expanding herself, becoming a bigger name. Something that her and Ivory have in common. They like to say that they don't have stuff in common, but that is something that they have in common. That they grow here and they expand it, and they're just doing good at what they're doing. Um, Speaking of women and giving them the appreciation, I've came across with the idea saying that how last season, even though it was kind of late, we started getting a lot more females than we started expecting or recognizing. People like Elena and Julia, I think that's how you pronounce the name, Julia. Well, we're starting to get a lot more women that we actually expected. And so, with that being said, I am looking forward into creating a division for you guys. Um, and that does mean you guys will have your own women's championship. That will be sometime in the later process, as soon as we can have like legitimate count of how much women we have. Um, so that brings about onto the intergender matches. With the intergender matches, since that we're bringing upon the women's division, um, I wouldn't say that they're gonna be discontinued, but it won't be as frequent as they usually are. Like, you won't be seeing like on a weekly basis of women facing men. Because I want to like I say, I want to align the divisions on where they're supposed to be and keep the story flowing without trying to intertwine with other people's character build. And so with that, I do acknowledge that we have no female titles right now, but we do have a female champion, which is Northia. Um, and she holds the brutality title. I do have plans concerning that. With her and the brutality title. I'm not saying that she is, but if she does manage to hold onto the brutality title by the time as we have a women's division, then more than likely you will be looking at your first, well, in a long time, because I'm not sure, I can't remember if BW had a women's champion, but just saying for this season, well, I guess, well, the first time in a gazillion years we will have first ever women's champion. That doesn't mean that she won't be defending it, but I'll just let you guys know that if it does happen, she will automatically be considered as the first champion, seeing that it's only fitting instead of just stripping her and leaving her with nothing. Um, but also with the brutality title, been doing a lot of thinking on how we can give the title a certain meaning instead of having it there as a title and just sitting around. Um, with my idea to the brutality title, that basically the brutality title would be the hardcore division, just to um
I thought
sorry,
it was
just
already.
to tribute. Yeah, but like it wasn't like exactly what it was supposed to give. What I mean by that is that brutality and anyone in the brutality division would be strictly fighting in like death matches. Is I want to not overdo it with like in every match stipulation. You know how BWE, we sometimes go by barbaric rules and stuff, and sometimes the rule book just go out the window. Like I want to have a division just for that, and that's gonna strictly be the brutality division.
Rules? Never
So
heard about them.
yeah, that. And so yeah, that's gonna be all that's gonna be in the brutality division. Like I want to give it its own spark. I don't want it to feel as though like it's just a title that you hold, or I want like people that crave death matches, stuff like that. Like that's their skill, that's their craft. Division set for them. Um, I do also recognize that we have Storm Brooks as the underground champion, and if I'm to be corrected, he's wanting to come onto the main roster more, and he
He
wants
is main
to
roster already.
probably, yeah, he is main roster already, meaning that he would be featured more on main roster than he would be on underground. It's his choice still, but at the same time, we got to keep people on underground like chasing for something, like crave for something besides just waiting on one title. So that brought the idea of bringing the new Division X title to Underground, and I think that the name alone speaks for itself. The Division X will basically be like I don't know if you guys have seen like TNA or Impact where they have their X division. It's gonna be like the X division, and so with that being said, um no, there isn't gonna be a specific holder, but I plan on creating some type of way that it's fair for everyone. And so I'm gonna just give you guys a little brief what I'm thinking. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do about probably four qualifying matches. and I'm thinking that they can either be in triple threat style or fatal four ways. And once I can collect the four winners, like they mentioned in the BWE Direct on YouTube by Lopez, um, Underground's gonna have their first pay per view, and I'm gonna give you guys a date for that. That is going to be in February. It's gonna be in February. We're gonna have a build to it. It's not gonna be sudden. We're gonna work our way into that, and with that, at the first ever pay per view, we're gonna give you a first ever match stipulation that hasn't been introduced to BWE as yet. Um, I still have it in development, but more than likely, I am sure that we can have it by then. And so, with the qualifying matches and the four winners, we plan on hosting the first ever X Division match. And yes, it will be for the Division X championship. So, to whoever those four contestants will be, that's the match stipulation that you will be in to fight for the Division X championship. And um, it I would say that you kind of are holding a world title, but at the same time you're not. But what I can say is like every X Division title, the rules are the same. You have about 10 title defenses, and you can use it as your option C to cash in for an opportunity to face for the Underground Championship on any desired event that you want to. But that's only if you can accomplish 10. Depending on how storylines look, probably might bring it down to 5. But like I said, you never know what to expect, and just hope that the story flows within its expectation. Okay, so far we covered the brutality title. We discussed the underground title, the Division X championship, the world championship.
There's Asia and US and Immortal and World left.
Okay, and so with the US and the Asia title, they are going to be main roster titles card obviously, but I'd like to say underground that does not leave you guys out. Um for you guys, I'm not going to say that you will have main roster. This is a lot, but in case some of you do, I find it fitting that some of you do or have the qualifications for it. You guys can compete for the Asia or the US championship because that's gonna be an open division where just about anybody who feels as though that that's their path or that's the division they want to step in, they can go, they can get their shot at. Um, and that's gonna be like that throughout the entire season. The Asia and the US championship is gonna be an open division. Anyone can enter it as they choose.
So that does not change.
And so, huh?
That one doesn't change. That was already a thing.
Yeah. And so that leaves me with what, the immortal title?
Yes.
Okay. With the immortal title, I've had a lot of feedback from the last season because it was introduced last season. Saying that, the immortal title is supposed to be the secondary world championship. Like, give me an example. Like 2011, like how they had the WWE championship and the world heavyweight championship, or like how MWA has it, where they have the MWA championship and they have the world heavyweight championship. The immortal championship is supposed to be a secondary world championship, and so people send comments saying that they don't feel as though it is a secondary world championship. So this season I plan on changing that, starting by that match where we had Jack Reese Archer and Christopher Cage. That was the start of building it into a secondary world championship, but we plan on taking it a few steps further than that. It's gonna have a lot of big build on it. So I'm gonna say that, it won't just be given to any and everyone, but that it's gonna have a huge focus on it this season. Probably equally shared as the World Championship. I will need a lot of people to like step up. So I'm not going to force anyone, but I have ideas on what it is that I can help you guys step up. That includes making gimmick gimmick requirements. If you guys need help on getting a push, I've had a few gimmicks that I feel as though could benefit the roster and could benefit your push because I am looking for those certain gimmicks. Um, and I also am aligning myself with people that can make it happen for you to get the models instead of you trying to your head and putting all kind of pressure and stuff. I'm getting people to get that sorted out for you so that you can be fresh, you can be needed for what it is that I'm looking for specifically in the immortal division. So people with failing gimmicks, um I'm not gonna call any names, but if you feel as though that your gimmick isn't doing what it's supposed to do or it isn't appreciated as much, you can always hit me or you can always come to one of the admin and they can bring it up to me and I'll just hit you up whenever I get the free time and I'll talk to you, see what we can do and how we can shape your gimmick and get you to where you're supposed to be. And those will be planned for the immortal division. What I'm about to talk about is going to be a bit risky because this is something I've been stressing for like the past 2 3 years, and we gave it a try and then like after a while it went nowhere. It just decayed and like yeah. And so many of you know my faction, the BSE, and you also know Aaron's faction, the DOTA, and also Blackout. And then you also have new up and coming factions like Anarchy. What I'm planning on doing is for this season, I'm hoping and I hope for the best. We are going to attempt and bring a tag team division into BWE,
or like the
mainly
hundred
because I
time.
feel it's like the 100th time, but I just want to have at least hope once more because I've been noticing in all kind of other feds in the AM community, they've been looking for tag teams. They've been willing to make models and stuff for tag teams, make the required attires, make everything possible to have more tag teams into the community. And so if that's happening and we do have people building tag teams, like I've seen in worldwide wrestling, we have about like 6 tag teams, legit tag teams. um I've also got myself involved in that to at least lend a helping hand for a while, just so that the tag team division can be built. We have teams like Usos, American Alpha, Crime Time, and others. Base WWE expired gimmicks. We also have custom tag teams, which have their own motto, their own style, etc. And then we have people who are coming making factions. We can make tag teams with the factions. We can do a lot. Just because you're a single superstar doesn't mean that you can't be in the tag team division. If you have someone or if you come across someone that you previously wrestled or you wrestled alongside of or watched and you think that they would be a good match with you for a tag team, feel free to hit them up. Be like, hey, let's just give it a test run, see how it goes, and if you guys have that compatibility, you guys should make it uh like a want or like a desire to like come into the tag team division, because I know a lot of fans are saying this, but like me truly, I am a tag team fan. So I feel as though that if you have a tag team that it can help you more, and I want to bring out a lot more tag teams this season, and I want to build people because it helps and it's quicker to build up more than one person at the same time. Um, I don't know if any of you guys like own your own feds or anything, but if you have a tag team and you're building two persons at the same time, it works better than for when the tag team eventually, if they do split up, then you have two brand new like big stars or at least stars on the rise instead of having to go and push them as single superstars and you know tearing away from other people's chances, etc., etc. So, like I said, don't be afraid from making tag teams. They are welcome here. Every and all tag teams are welcome here. Um, Even if I have to make the tag team division intergender, then I would probably take that risk because like I say, I would love to have tag teams on the roster. That is a desire for me. It's like a dream come true. Work very hard just to get like at least factions on the build. The first part of the season would probably be focused on faction building, so you guys should try and give it consideration. Even if you don't want to do tag teams at the moment, having a faction isn't bad. You have numerous factions that are consist of a lot of single stars who part-time tag team, but they're mostly single stars. If you look at it, factions like Chaos, factions like Bullet Club, the Elite, they're full of single stars. Jericho Appreciation Society, Inner Circle, Lucha Bros. Like there's a list of factions that are full of single stars that later come into being tag teams just by being associated with one another. It doesn't have to be permanent, but effective. It has to be effective because just throwing together a random faction where it lasts 2 or 3 weeks, that's basically pointless. What is the point of forming the faction if it's gonna stay for that long, that short period of time? Um, and I don't really like want a mixed match kind of thing. So like, if you have faction ideas, like I say, free to hit me up, and I will like talk to you about it. I will like help you if you need help building your faction or like discussing. Once you get your members, you have everyone on board, you have a certain ideal on how your faction is supposed to be portrayed. Like pure example, I tend to move on to this example a lot. Look at the Judgment Day. Every single last one of them were single superstars, well beside Dominic, but no one likes Dominic. um we had Damian Priest, Finn Balor. We had at a point in time we had Edge, Rhea Ripley. You have JD McDonough, and Dom. But and even our truth, yeah, we're considering our truth a part of Judgment Day because why not? All of those are single superstars. They had their own build, their own rise, and now that they're a faction, they build more into becoming tag teams. We have tag teams with Priest and Balor. We have tag teams with JD and Dom. Even though Rhea's the only female, I'm sure if they had a female, that they probably would be a tag team in the women's tag division. But stuff like that, that's what factions help to create. Not only it creates single stars, but it also creates tag teams as well. So with that, I'm gonna put a full stop for right now on the tag team division. But know that if you want side gimmicks are always allowed. I forgot to mention that. Side gimmicks, you can do whatever once it isn't in the same division that you're working your craft in. Um, but like I said, tag team divisions, it's desired by me at least. Um, with the women's division, really I've brought it on to the plate, but I am not gonna fully be in charge of the women's division. Um, I'm not gonna tell you guys who's in charge because I have a feeling that you probably might go and like bombard them or like put a lot on their plate. So I'm gonna keep that a secret for now. If they choose to reveal, I'm saying they because I'm not telling you how much or who all, or it could be one, it could be two, it could be three, but I'm not telling you guys because yeah, I want to give them their own free space to think of what they can do for their women's division that they're gonna be in charge of. Um, but yeah, they will be in charge of the women's division. I will only be helping with the storylines or given recommending who I feel should be at where they're supposed to be in that division. And so basically they will be that person or persons will be pulling the strings in the women's division. Um what else would I have on my notes? The new structure in BWE. Like I mentioned earlier, we will have roster limits. Um, with roster limits, underground for them, there isn't gonna be much of a roster limit because what we plan on doing this season is that how last season a lot of new faces just came and they somehow got skyrocketed to main roster status and stuff. We're not gonna do that this season. Just how we have to build all the unknowns, all the people who are new to the community or who had never had a chance to shine in the community. How we're building them on the underground. We're gonna also build like fresh faces from other companies through underground. But the only difference is that if they had like already stepped foot in BWE turf before, or like if they are like a big pull, like a big name, for example, say Caleb Bennett or like Mateo Santiago, like we're gonna like have to put them on the main roster because we don't want them to outshine our developing roster. So we would scramble them somewhere in the main roster just to protect our underground because like I say, underground is gonna be a development roster where we're gonna build talent there, and when we feel they're ready for a main roster transition, that we're gonna bring them onto the main roster, and we're gonna give them that kind of build that they need to stay as main roster credible, to the best of our abilities, of course. But underground is not gonna have a roster limit, but the main roster is going to have a roster limit. um, like I said, so far with the World Championship, we have about 10, 10 the most. The minimum would probably be about six to eight. Same thing with the Immortal title because it is a secondary World Championship. So it's gonna have like the maximum would be about 10, and then we're gonna have a minimum of six. With the Asia and US, again, it's gonna be an open division. The women's championship can be defended either on main roster or underground. It the women's division is gonna be a cross branded thing as well as the tag team division. So um be expected that if we have main roster shows or underground shows, that if you're a part of the women's division or the tag team division, that you can show up on either and still get booked. It wouldn't matter. um the brutality, like I said, that's gonna have a specific requirement, death match type. And so that's gonna leave in about probably, I'd say the minimum would be like six six wrestlers, and the maximum would probably be about like 12 to 14. Depends on because death matches are a form or style of wrestling, so can't really exclude it, but you have to specialize it from regular wrestling. um oh, before I forget, alongside of pay-per-views, since we're talking about the underground pay-per-view, yes, like I mentioned, it's going to be in February, sometime in February, probably about at the end of the month. Um, but that will not be the only underground pay per view. It's gonna be the start of many. This season, we're gonna look to appreciate underground as much as we do with the main roster. At least have them showcase their own talents where it's gonna be appreciated, and that's gonna be on a pay per view. I'm not gonna say that the underground pay per views are gonna be as frequent as main rosters. So for a template example, let's look at NXT in like 2014 to like 2016, where they probably would have like a pay per view bi-monthly or like every quarter yearly, where they just have like pay per views like Rival, uh, the End, Takeover Brooklyn, etc., etc. The underground pay per views are going to be determined something in that manner. Um, but I haven't gotten a complete list of how much. Uh, I mean, sorry, I haven't got a complete list of the names of all the pay per views I've decided on. But I will let you guys know that Underground will have about 6 pay per views this year, this season. And so, however I come about with sorting that out, I will let you guys know in the future. Um, with the main roster, we're going to have about at least 10 pay per views. 10? Yeah, we're gonna have at least 10 pay per views, saying in which we don't take a hiatus or any kind of break that will kind of interrupt what's supposed to happen. So, um, within the 10 pay per views, we're gonna see a lot of reoccurring pay per views like what we had last year, like such as the Royal Casino Spire and Brutality, but and Hell to Pay as well. But we will also be bringing back old pay per views that you guys probably were here for, such as Battle of the Colosseum. We're gonna bring back Nemesis, um, and a few others. I'm gonna keep the others a surprise, but stay tuned for those because with those pay per views, we're gonna have a lot of stories onto them. They're gonna lead to a lot of big things that you guys may be excited for, depending on how long you guys stay and stick for the story. The story, like I said, every division has a story, and it depends on what you as a superstar do that can leave your mark in the story, that can probably change the story or start your way into your own craft. And so with that, uh pay-per-views, even though like they had that special feeling already, they would have like something extra. Pay-per-views won't just like be consisted of like title matches and stuff. We could have a pay-per-view that's just probably full of rivalries. We could have a pay-per-view that probably only has one or two championship defenses and everything else is just like grudge matches, etc. That's what we're gonna spark on. Like we're not gonna have pay-per-views is just some kind of show where you display all title defenses, but we're gonna have pay-per-views tell stories as well. They're gonna be like landmarks on where you tell your story. um Now, I haven't officially decided on time slot as yet, but I do plan on keeping the same time slot. Well, not very much the same, but the same day as we would have on any regular BWE season, which I believe would be Thursdays for main shows. But with Underground, I do understand that the UK time, even though like we were trying to fit for UK at the time, that a lot of people couldn't really make it as much. We would have a few times where we were surprised with a big crowd, but besides that, we would probably have about like 10 to 12 maximum a show. And so we're gonna try and change that dynamic. Um I'm I keep forgetting, but um side gimmicks are also welcome to Underground. So
You were talking about Showtime. We had Thursdays and Saturdays.
okay, Thursday and Saturdays. Getting back to that, side gimmicks are also welcome to Underground. I kept forgetting to mention that over and over, but I just remembered just now. So if you feel as though that you have a side singles gimmick that you don't want to take up or like over overtake your main character gimmick on the main roster, you can also bring them down to Underground so you can help develop your other character without having to intercross with your character on the main roster. Um, with the show times, thank you for reminding me that they are Thursday and Saturday. Thursday, I am in. Well, I'm hopefully trying to move show times from being where. What was it? 5.
It
It was 5 p.m.
was
Eastern.
five, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and go old school BWE, and I'm gonna move it from 5, and I'm gonna take a risk and changing it from 5 to probably 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, that can have everyone home at least, settle in at home, and could be available to attend the show. That'd give you a reasonable time. Because I know a lot of you have school or college. Even if you work and you have the day shift, like I know that that would be hard to get to shows. For me, it was kind of a problem last term for a bit. Well, for at least like half the series, but I manage sometimes. Um, because school and stuff, they kind of hold you back, and I don't know how traffic's looking for you guys wherever you guys live, if there is traffic or anything. So you know, I feel as though 8 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Eastern would be a suitable time for you guys to at least get home and be online. Um, and for Underground, I haven't decided for what time I would host it, but I will be getting back to you. Um, okay, so now I have to check my calendar right quick because for some of you wondering when would we be returning, we would be returning on January 25th. That is this upcoming Thursday. That will be the revival of BWE, which in my eyes is season 10, but it's actually season 9 in Lopez's eyes. And so,
I
yeah,
tell the
on the
truth.
20, yeah, and so on the 25th, we will be reviving BWE into its new season, and it's gonna be completely open booked. So you guys, if you have any idea of who it is that you want to face, or like, make sure you talk to them first. Don't just like come to me and like suggest matches where other people are not comfortable with. Feel free to come to me and suggest opponents who you'd like to face under revival, because I will be taking that into consideration, and I can start something based on who it is that I have you against. And so, if there's something that you want to pitch in, feel free to hit me up, and I will talk to you. You have until from now to Thursday. So, like I say, it's gonna be open booked. Nothing's pre-booked. So, if you have ideas, hit me up. I won't turn down your creativity, but I will give you feedback or my input on it. Um, and with that being said, so far I've covered just about 90% of what I had to talk about. Um, it's something else what I'm trying to remember, but it's not kind of clicking in my head at the moment, and I don't
The
have it down.
arenas.
Oh, the arenas. Well, for this one, I will let Lopez talk about it for right now until I can remember what it is that I was gonna say. So
Uh,
thank you for bringing up the arenas.
yeah, I'm making, I guess the final arenas I'm currently making for BBE, which is the new. We're using first the new, or kind of the same, but we're using this arena for the new main roster, which is for the whole. Uh, what's that? The whole main roster. This is the new main roster arena, which is the Allegiant Stadium, which we use for All Stars. So the main roster from now on will use that arena. It's gonna be essentially just stadium. Then for the underground, it's gonna get a new arena, and we're no longer using the UK arena. So gonna be retired. That's gonna be a longer thing. So we're gonna have a new arena. I think I've teased about it before or talked about it, but there's a whole new arena. And plus the final stage, at least the final pay per view I will put my hands on, which is the new underground pay per view, which will use actually an old arena from I'm trying to remember top of my head. Battle of the Belts. It's going to use the Battle of the Belts arena we used back in fucking Christ season 3, 4. Yes, it's season 3, 4 ish. I'll say. Those are essentially the last arenas I'll put my hands on, unless it's like, hey, can you do this because we can't find any arena makers? But mostly those are the most I'm gonna put my last hands on. Um, uh, they're gonna use the Pyros from we used at Brutality 5. So those are the system. I added Kai, Evan, and Aaron in the list of those who can use it. So only them can use it. So if they want to add more, they have to let me know. And then what else is there? Um, yeah, I think that's all of the little small things of the new stuff. I don't want to talk too deeply into it. Besides, the arenas is gonna be different. This is gonna be a stadium for the main roster. It's gonna be I guess, an arena for the underground, which is gonna feel more like kind of like an NXT kind of deal in back in NXT 2015, I want to say, with small barricades. So you have limited rooms. You have to get used to how much room you have, essentially. Um, Also, yeah, the All Star Arena have now. If you go now at the arena, you can go there right now. Actually, you will see BVE shelves, which is from season 0 to season, I guess, season 6 to season 9 of all of BVE. So if you ever have time, go to the All Stars Arena, which I think I renamed. You'll see shelves, and you will be able to see the memories of BVE, and you'll see that how far we've really gotten. I made sure to add a little of everyone on the last cell. So if you have time, if I can get the code probably later and say, hey, this is if you want to look at it, you can look at it here. But yeah, then there's other stuff I obviously mentioned. Think also it's there. I think that's it. Yeah, that's just all of the new arenas. Only the stadium will have the shells. I don't think I will be able to put them in on the new underground arena. Yeah, we're using the Elegant Stadium for the new uh, main roster arena, or essentially. But we're getting a new whole arena for the underground, and a whole like new arena for our whole, I guess, old pay per view arena for the underground to use. Yeah, we're gonna always have a pay per view feel. Women preview, I don't think it will happen this season. If I'm being honest, but I don't know. I have no hands on it. Hard copy, I don't know. That's the point of it because every preview is instantly like a hard copy review, but that's what Kai can answer to. But I will not steal his Q&A. What else is there? Uh, That's a good question. The Pepsi Arena. I think that's a question more to Kai if you want to keep that arena or not, because I had to replace it temporarily to make uh, the Brutality 5 work.
Uh, yeah, we are going to keep the Pepsi Arena, but I'm not going to reveal what it will be for, but it will be showcased later on in the season. Um, Now that I remember somewhat of what it was that I was gonna talk about, um, it's going to talk about basically the roster's behavior. BWE has, well, the Discord has rules and stuff on its own, but I want to talk about like behavior wise. Um, where is that there's gonna be like a lot of stuff that we kind of won't be tolerating this season, which would be stuff like, we provide you with a script and you go beyond the script, or like if there is plans we have for you and then like you reveal those stuff like that that's not really appreciated by the creative staff, and it makes it very hard on us to like put stuff together, because if we bring something to you or give something to you that we have planned for you, and that you just like go off and like ruin it and stuff, like that makes it hard for us, because we'd have to go back and we'd have to create something new, or we'd have to discontinue it and try to find something else. And I try to avoid that as much as I could this season, so like I'm really not gonna tolerate that. As it comes into situations, arguments, I'd like to say that if you have something personal with someone, well, the first thing is that don't get an argument, just like block or mute them or something. But if it does come into a point that you have an argument with someone that you particularly don't like, um I'd like encourage you, please, not to have it into the BWE Discord or around the BWE environment, because it tends to bring off like some type of toxicity, whereas that it can cause a lot and do a lot of damage. If I'm not trying to like bring it up, well, I tried to avoid it, but BWE isn't really in good reputation for drama and controversy and stuff. So like we're starting on a fresh sheet, we're starting clean. I want you to think of it as any new AM Fed, something to start over. Besides like the reputation, wrestling wise, that we have. I try to have this Discord as like a non hostile kind of environment. Everyone here is family. I don't feel as though that we should be going back and forth with each other, or like sending threats or anything to one another. Try to keep in the Discord positive, because you never know when stuff gets out, or you never know who is looking, because some of us here, we can be probably older than probably 15, 16, or some of us are in the teenage stage, but Discord, Roblox has children, and so you have to watch what you say around children, because that leaves a bad influence onto them, and it also leaves a bad reputation on not only to yourself but people around you, aka like your company or like your colleagues and stuff, because that's what a bad impression is. If they can make it on you, that they're gonna apply it on the people you keep your company with, or etc. Um like I said with the scripting, I need you guys to like be as cooperative as possible if needed, because like it is needed, sorry, because like in able to tell a story or to give something good, a good product, everyone is gonna need to play their part and be on board. Not every, like I understand that, you know, a lot of you want to have a successful story, but not everyone can have that. Not saying that you will not have it, but in the time and moment being that, you know, you have to do your part, whether it's to help someone else or to like put someone else over. You have to do your part because you never know when it's your turn, or if you have to do it for someone, someone else has to do it for you. So just be respectful for when scripting happens. um I wouldn't say that, you know, even if it does end up in a case where you lose probably 4 or 5 times, that doesn't mean that you're gonna lose the entire season. It's just only for at the moment. It's a story plot, or it could probably build into something else. Could give more ideas. You can even use it to give more ideas. Um, and not talking about the scripting anymore and stuff, behavior and stuff, because I feel as though like I said, you guys are family. You guys understand what it is that most pet owners look for. I can't say that, you know, I'm going to be expecting, but I'm at least having hopes or the expectation for it. Um, I have a lot of faith in you guys because, you know, um, at a point in time, like the discussion was like when Lopez ends the Fed, who's gonna take over, and like, you know, everyone in the admin was kind of like, you know, no one was willing to take it up. I guess at the moment, I wasn't even sure I was gonna take it up until that I actually sat down and thought about it. So I'm giving you guys a try, and I hope that, you know, you guys have as much belief in me as I have in you, and that we all succeed together. And with that being said, I could call off so far some of the official roster members we do have that is confirmed for this season so far. That I will also list off a few part-time names that could possibly show their face again. I'm not saying that they're guaranteed, but they can possibly show up. So, I don't have everyone's by their gimmick name. So if you know you hear your Discord username or your gimmick name, just know that it's you. It's no one else but you. Um so let me start off with saying we have the well, all champions you should know. Uh, we have the underground champion Levon Brooks. We have the world champion Gary. We have the Asia champion Noah Rourke. We have the U.S. champion Jalen. We have people like Jaden Bird. We have Mitch Dragon, Northia Faye, the Brutality champion. We have Jack Reese Archer, who is your Immortal champion, of course. Um, we have Kenshin. We have Andrew Knox. We have Jake David, JKA. We have Chris Matthews. We have Mal. We have Julia, Wrestling Last Saint. We have Kyle Dawson. We have Joe Storm, David Hybrid, James Taylor. We have Deshaun Marcus, PD, and Man Slimmer. We also have a few names that you guys probably might see but not recognize. People like Blindside. Um, we have stars coming in like Dallas. He's gonna be returning. Who else? Now that I think about it, some of the part-time names we'll be having, because I can't guarantee that you guys will see them, but they have possibility on showing back up every once in a while. People like Aaron Jekyll, we have Ivory Michelle, myself, aka Kyraxon. Um, you have Christopher Cage, who is still able to part time. Um, We're bringing in people like Furia Roja to make his return back into the Fed. We're bringing back Jacob Steele. We have Brandon Williams coming in. Who else do we have? We have a few names, such that you guys recognize or have some idea of who it is that's going to be back here. If I haven't called their name, then I just probably forgot. But that roster for right now, everyone has a chance of either being on the main roster or in the underground. No one's gonna really be like unmarked. That's at least for my perspective right now. That's my goal for right now, to have everyone organized into a certain roster in a certain division, as much people as I could under my roster limit. Um and I guess, you know, see where we could work from. Hopefully we get way up into the clouds. I'm gonna say that we're going into the sun, but hell,
I
if we
mean,
could
if
get
we,
past
we
the cloud,
can.
yeah, if we could, then we can. But at least my objective is to get us into the clouds. Get people to start talking about BWE again. To change their mindset of what they had for it already, and bring it into this new dynamic. This something that's gonna change the AM perspective. Um. Also,
Uh, I,
um. Sorry, I got kind of thrown off. Um. Like I said, a lot of people might have their doubts and stuff about BWE, but we're gonna show them that this season we come with new life. We come to entertain. We come to have fun, and we come to make memories. Speaking of which, I've reached out to people that had previous problems with BWE in a company, and I've talked with them, and we've had our mutual agreements, and so like I said, a lot of new faces you might be seeing, a lot of new people, a lot of big names might pop up, show their heads in support, and so don't be afraid to give your best performance. That's basically the main part of it. We're gonna be telling a story, but it needs like the best performance possible from each and every one of you. You guys all are stars in my eyes and in your own eyes, but you gotta bring out that potential to really showcase it, to show people that we are the best of the best. We are where it's supposed to be. We're BWE. We're still in the game. Get our name out there instead of having us be downgraded from where we currently stand. We need to elevate and be better. And like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying it, I believe in each and every one of you. We can make this possible. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get through with this. And I'm just determined. I'm determined. If you guys aren't determined, I'm determined for you. I am here for you. Any needs, any wants, I've got you. We can talk. Feel free to hit me up. Any ideas, talk to me. Gimmick ideas, talk to me. Storyline ideas, talk to me. I got y'all. I'm here for y'all. Admin is gonna be here for y'all. We got this. We got you all. We can pull through. And for right now, I'm gonna see if we have any Q's and A's. So give me a second, and I'm gonna get into the Q&A as soon as I check through. Um.
I guess ask for a call once
Oh
the
yes, we
Q&A
got the
starts.
hand
It should be a
here.
little
So
wave hand.
uh, feel free to, if you have questions, raise your hand and let me know. Hold on, y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, and also it seems like raise hand is disabled
Y'all
often,
can
so
hear
you
me,
have to
right?
fix it.
Yo, y'all can hear me, right? Oh, all
Yes,
right.
I can
Cause
hear
like
you.
I couldn't find. the podcast anymore, and I hate Discord. All right, so like, if anyone has a question, just message inside the chat because for right now I can't really go back into the discussion. Okay, what's up? Um, you know, I haven't really been, I haven't witnessed the segment myself, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's a hot topic. So hopefully, when we get Furia down to BWE, we can actually start and like help pick up on what it is that they're doing. We can get that. We can get that going. Hopefully, if he does come through, and we can keep it hot. And yeah, we got that. We got it. We got it. But we can't take over your storyline. Whatever some other Fed has for you, the most we can do is just like keep it running or keep it hot for them. We can't steal their storyline. I don't want to steal someone else's storyline. So yeah, but we can keep that going for you if that's what you guys looking for. Will there be new theme songs for Underground and the main show? Yes, I am going through Spotify as we speak right now, and I'm
Oh,
listening to all kinds of different music where I have to get out of my comfort zone, and I've come across a lot of unexpected great theme songs. Not only wrestling theme songs, but like songs where like they just came out of the blue, like they just pop up in my Spotify, and like I'm like, hell yeah, like this is a vibe, bro. Yeah, so we're gonna find out. We're gonna pick through on new theme songs for both underground and main show. Um, are you
so
gonna allow partner feds to have title matches here in BWA and other feds? Yes, I will. They're always welcome, partner feds. Um, for them to have their championships be defended in our shows. It's an honor on its own. Hopefully we can get our championships to also appear on their show and be respected in the same way. But like I said, partner feds are allowed. Rivalries from partner feds, they are allowed over at BWE. They just gotta talk to me first and let me know exactly what it is that they need for it. Um, what's
can
the
we have
next
a
question?
request from Kenshi to join the voice chat to ask questions?
Would there be a women's title slash women's pay per view? Yes, like I already addressed, there will be a women's title and a women's division. As it pertains to a
All right.
women's,
Can anyone hear me?
I can completely guarantee
All
you
right.
that
So next is
because with the women's pay per view, there is a certain requirement for the amount of women that I would need to put that together. And if I can't bring together at least 5 matches, then there is no point in having a pay per view. Oh, thank you for reminding me about that. Uh to answer your question and to provide everyone else with more information, bro, nah, I don't. No, I don't. I don't. I don't. But anyway, um, bro, anyway, so
Hey, Kai, you got someone
the
in the
women
voice chat right here.
are going to have a women's tournament in BWE. We're going to have one of those. A tag team tournament potentially. I'm not sure. Depends on how much tag teams we have, but we are going to have at least one women's tournament this season. Um, your voice has been disconnected.
I do got another question real quick. Sorry to
Wait,
interrupt.
you guys can hear me anyway. Um, hold on, what?
I
Kai,
do got another question. Sorry to interrupt. Um.
Hold on, hold
Will
on,
we
hold on,
bring
hold
in?
on. Sorry, my bad. I realized why I can't really see the chat because I'm on my mobile. Let me connect to my laptop right quick.
sorry for making you wait a bit longer, I guess.
Nah, y'all good.
all right. Cool, cool, cool.
And also
Now,
to we're going to ask you a question, and more people in the queue. So answer his question.
All right. Will there be like a Lopez special tournament, like for like his time in BWE? Will it be like a tag team tournament named after him, or
that I'm not going to reveal, but what I am going to say with the tournament that we're going to have at least 3 or 4 this year, one including the women's tournament. We're also going to have we're gonna have the King of the Ring back. Well, I mean, Tournament of Death kinda is gonna be the King of the Ring, but we're gonna bring that back. Um, we also going to start off this season early, about probably March. I'm gonna give you guys that information. In March, we're going to have a tournament, and ironically, it's going to kind of tribute Lopez in a way, but in this tournament, it's going to have its own qualifications by means of me saying that it's going to tribute Lopez in a way. Um, People who have been in past seasons, like in the Cleans era, would probably know what the tournament is named after. People like Aaron Jekyll. That's what I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring back that tournament, but it's gonna have a round robin stipulation onto it. And for those that don't know the name of the tournament, it is called the Devil's Gamble, the Devil's Gambit. And that was a match type that Lopez had in the Cleans era, where in order for you to get a world championship match, you would have to face the entire server. And so I've taken that match stipulation. No, we're not facing the whole server. Um I've taken that match stipulation and I've turned it into a tournament, and I've created it into a round robin tournament instead of facing the entire server. So in a way, you are kind of facing I mean, you're gonna face everyone. It's a round robin, but it's not going to be designed as you going into a gauntlet into a gauntlet match where like definitely you're not gonna win. But that's gonna be the Devil's Gambit. It's gonna be a round robin tournament, and with that, the winner of the tournament would be, because it's not gonna be strictly one division. It's going to be it's gonna be about like 2 persons out of every division, and so the winner of the tournament will get a future title shot of the division that they're in. And it could be at any event at any time once the match is sanctioned. It's not gonna be like a brief. It's not gonna be like a BFOG cash in. It's gonna be a sanctioned one-on-one match at any event. It could be in BWE. It could be outside of BWE. Once the match is sanctioned with management, once there's an acknowledgement that this match is gonna be sanctioned, and the match happens, and that's the reward basically. So let's say at a random underground show or even the underground pay-per-view, if one's even happening at that time, let's say um let's say Kenshin wins the tournament, and Kenshin were to have a call your shot moment where he gets to choose the event on which he can have the match. He can say, "Hey, management, I'm going to cash in my Devil's Gambit opportunity to face, let's say, the Brutality champion would be someone like Antonio Gonzalez, and say, yeah, I'm cashing in on Antonio at this event, saying that it's gonna be an underground takeover, or it could be at MECW, or it could be at XCWE. It could be legit at any event once the match is sanctioned. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be the Devil's Gambit. I'm gonna explain the rules more to you guys as the event comes up. It's gonna be a fun event. Um, it won't be a letdown because last year we tried the best of the Super Juniors. I really was hoping that that would have taken off, but due to the amount of clustered feds taking up the same time slot as us, and superstars not having the same time schedules and stuff, that we couldn't really get that to go where we wanted it to. But hopefully this time it works and we get through with it. Do we have any more questions
Yes, from Water. He's just waiting.
from who?
Mitch, you can unmute yourself, Mitch.
Oh,
All right.
Mitch.
This will be hello.
Hello.
Will be new titles concerning to the main roster, or will be just considered for the underground?
Okay, so like you said, Underground do has a new title, but for the main roster, I am not. I am not going to reveal if there's going to be a new or the titles are going to stay the same. You're going to have to wait and see what happens. It could happen, or nothing at all can just happen. I'm just leading you on to no hype at all. But I would say, like, stay tuned, see if anything does happen, because a lot can happen within the next 12 months. A lot can happen a lot sooner in those 12 months. So yeah. Anything else?
Oh, there we go.
Anything else?
Uh, Jake,
Jake,
I think his mic.
go ahead. Um, Ask him to type. See
Okay,
if he can type.
yeah, I think you just type it in the chat, Mike, Jake.
Go ahead. Ask your question and type it. Type it. I'll read it. What do you mean by ultra ego?
I think alter ego, but I think you already he answered that.
Oh, you're meaning alter egos. Alter egos. Um. Okay. Addressing alter egos. Um. If I have you in a storyline, please, I ask that you tell me beforehand that if this is the case, that you have this alter ego in this other fed or somewhere else, or if you would like to try something new, please let me know in advance before I put you in storylines that I put you in, because then when you let me know that, then I can think of how I can work with you and your gimmick and its alter ego in quotations, because I don't want to just throw you into this storyline, whereas this is supposed to happen, then out of nowhere you just come with this new completely different thing, and then it kind of jack up the story.
Hello?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
It's
Levon.
Oh, what's good?
No, my question is like, are we keeping all the pay-per-views we have like from what was it, S9? Are we keeping all of those, or are we like keeping like a select few of them?
All right, Kazo. We are going to keep season 9 pay-per-views, but we do intend on adding some old pay-per-views that you guys probably never had the chance to experience, and we're also probably in consideration, depending on how the admin feels, adding new pay-per-views which are going to be um stipulated as in bring pay-per-views that introduce stipulations like the elimination chamber, or in AM's terms, the torture chamber, um stuff like that, but yeah, we are going to keep most of season nine's pay-per-views, at least most of them. Go ahead, Noah. Okay, so for the main roster, the confirmed showtimes so far, because I still have to talk to Count about showtimes so I can make for Underground. But main roster's showtime is gonna be on Thursdays at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll do a poll on it at first before I actually like fully confirm it. So before the first show, which is on Thursday, probably by tomorrow, I'm gonna have a poll up on which time should we do it. If we should keep the current time, move it to 7, or move it to 8. Yes, this Thursday coming up. Like I said, it's gonna be completely open book. But if you have ideas on who you want for opponents, or potential storylines you want to start up, feel free to hit me up before Thursday, and I can run it through with my admin, and I can get back to you. Oh, by the way, champions, if you feel as though that you want to defend on the return show, then that is completely fine by me. But like I say, let me know in advance and not last minute.
Mhm. So okay, I'm thinking about something. The deathmatch is gonna be open venue or are we gonna have a new venue? Like, mm,
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm thinking about something. The Brutality Championship is gonna be defended on the normal roster or the, I don't know, main event roster, right? Like this, something like this.
Okay, with the Brutality Championship, I'm going
Yeah.
to leave that decision up to the Brutality Champion, whoever it is at whatever
Mhm.
time. But the only condition is that the Brutality Championship has to be defended under deathmatch rules. Always.
Oh, okay.
Well, basically, the entire division is gonna be death matches, but
Okay, I'm back.
um, yeah, but with the Brutality Championship, there's gonna be a twist to the deathmatch rules. As in, the division normally is gonna be death matches, just strictly. But with the Brutality Championship, just to give it like more flame to the fire, anytime there's a championship match, it's going to be contested out of 2 out of 3 falls instead of just being one fall. Oh, I
So
forgot some.
this is
I
not.
forgot.
Okay, I'll let you talk first.
Yeah, sorry. I was reading Andrew's comment. Oh, I forgot something. The death matches, they're gonna have a pay-per-view, like a separate venue. Um. I'll.
Let
I'm
you talk.
thinking about it. I'm thinking about on its logic, saying that if it does, then I mean, it wouldn't necessarily happen, but um, the tournament of death definitely is coming up, and sometime in the season. And so, if it is fitting with admin that we have a pay per view just for the Tournament of Death, then we're going to have a main event being for the Brutality Championship, and just the Brutality Championship being defended for that pay per view.
Okay. So can I talk now?
Yes, we can. Who is this speaking?
It's me, Jake.
It's me. It's me. It's DDP. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So this is actually the biggest question. I'm not going to question you. I'm just going to question everybody in this server. So this is actually a big question for all you guys. Actually,
Hmm.
On mute. So go ahead.
so like this is a big question for all you guys. So if if you have problems or something like this, like if you have a big rivalry, if you have a big rivalry at different feds, or you was wrestling there in front of it, I won't mind you do that shit. That's just a question I think of. Like, I know what I've been through. Like, I've been wrestling there since I was a different gimmick. I used to wrestle as someone named as Crazy J.
Crazy J.
Who was that?
Uh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually got
I
fired from that gimmick. So I'll let you guys do your thing.
uh, I think he died and wanted. Uh, I think that's probably a follow up of this question mark, or how we feel about follow up gimmicks. Well, my opinion is that if you have a gimmick about if you have like two gimmicks, your main gimmick is obviously was getting that push. Your new gimmick is going. We had to see how that's getting a reaction. I think I said that before to others. Of if you're making a new gimmick, it's like it is a new character. You had essentially like a reset. You have to build them up.
Yeah, like I was also saying as well. If it is like a new gimmick, like if it's not the character that you have on the main roster or something, then that's considered a side gimmick, and I'd like for you to let us know, because I wouldn't want to say that you go by a new character and then I book you thinking that you were the character you previously was, and that's like completely not who you are. So in that case, then I would have to like let me know in advance so I can know if it's a side character. And if you do decide to keep the main gimmick, let me know that hey, this is a side character. I am keeping the main gimmick. The main gimmick's gonna stay in the main roster, and just let me know that that's a side gimmick so I can decide whether or not if I want to put you in underground so you can have your own time with that gimmick in underground instead of just toggling between two gimmicks in one roster in the main roster. Like I try to give you as much flexibility as possible as I can. What's up, Noah? Um,
Two
BWE
seconds.
spreadsheet. Um, you You meaning with like the title histories and other stuff, or with the overalls? Yes, I do plan on keeping it to stay around. But I will have to ask one of my admin if they could, because I doubt that I'm gonna be on top of everything. So that I would need someone to take a look at that for me and like manage that for me, like
Um,
for the admin.
yeah, for
And
an
this is
admin
why
job.
I Yeah, this is why glad that we have the amount of admin that we have, because everyone can be assigned to a certain role, and everyone can play a certain part. And so, um, me already of revealing that you are a part of the admin. If you'd like to take that on, then you can. Just ask Lopez to make you an editor in the spreadsheet, and you can do your work from there, man. Um,
I need your
Kenshin,
email address and your IP address and your.
yeah. Kenshin, I saw your question where you asked about if a champion isn't able to defend their title, if I am forced to vacate it. Okay, with it pertains to champions not coming when they're supposed to. Um, I can sort it out either with, if there isn't an excuse for you not coming, then like I will have to vacate the title from you on where it stands, because you didn't give me like any valid or excused reason into why you couldn't make where you needed to be. Um, but if it is an excuse, then I can bypass it, but I can't keep allowing like constant excuses for you not showing up. So if you can't show up, the most I can probably give you is about two warnings, and then the third time you do it, then I will have to like cut you as a champion, or I will have to replace you as a champion. By replacement, it can either do it two ways. Um, Whereas I can either vacate the title and put it up for grabs that same show, or like if I do know what it is that you're dealing with, I'm not gonna say that this is gonna be the solution every time, but depends on what the situation is. Then there may be calling in a chance where I would have to create a first time interim champion, but that's not going to be the case always. Only in certain situations that I can really bypass on where it is we would need an interim champion for. But that's not going to be the go to every time. We're not gonna make that a constant thing. So, like I said, there's gonna be like three warnings, and if not, if I don't hear from you, or like if you make it a habit, then I'm gonna have to vacate the title from you. Go on to grounds of you not showing up. Um, Before Gary asks Lopez a question, um, throwing away from the interim um champions, I would say that you do indeed that I'm going to be a little bit lenient on you this year. I mean this season, mainly due to story adaptation. Um this is for champions and champions only. If you are a current champion or going to be a previous champion in this season, meaning that you had a championship reign in this season upcoming and you lost the championship, you will be granted one rematch clause, the championship that you lost. It doesn't have to be instantly. It can be during the following pay per view or the pay per view after, but you only have one rematch clause. So even if you win the championship back, if you lose it again, you will not have a rematch clause for that.
Yes, to
Um,
answer Gary's question, I think that's a good question. That because I am technically controlling both in some degree, and it means I have to technically go out, or someone else has to fight as them. So that is a kind of a bit on Kai if everyone wants to make the I guess the parody character of Undertaker and Kane fight, they could. Though that would mean two people would wrestle as them or have them have to give Kai the more for something along those lines. But Robots have been a bit iffy with the I guess the filler system, so it's gonna be very tricky to put them in without I guess robots being like, haha, I see what you're trying, you're not allowed to. So it's gonna be I'm gonna see what I can do. There's no big promises on it. But guess my I guess my answer will be ask Roblox if it allows it.
Yeah. Not cutting you off, but I mean, with the idea of Noob Taker and Pain returning, um, that also benefits with the tag team division because they don't have to return as single wrestlers. They can come back as a tag team, and they could be in the tag team division to increase our tag division. So, it could be an idea for the future, depending on, like Lopez has said, how he's feeling, or if someone decides that they want to take up the mantle and become Pain and Noob Taker. So, yeah. Noah, how long exactly does the season last for? Well, I do plan for the season to run for the entire year straight, but if there are chances that we may have to take hiatuses or anything, that we will have to, but to my intention, it would be throughout this entire year, straight up until we reach to Brutality 6, and then we go back to hiatus once more until the next season happens.
That part doesn't
um
change.
yeah, that doesn't change. um and for Deshaun, Levon basically answered your question. So besides that, do we have any more questions?
Oh, Dom.
Sure, no problem.
Yes, while he's typing, before Kai answers, this will be later uploaded to YouTube as well, though it'll be a bit because it has the whole Discord overlay. So I guess deal with that a bit.
uh okay, will there ever be a War Games? Okay, so
I think we did talk
I'm
about this
not gonna
before.
tell you. I'm not gonna tell you yes, and I'm not gonna tell you no. But there may be, maybe not, have a story, and depending on where the story leads to, there's gonna be a 50-50 chance that you might be getting to see a War Games, and that's gonna be a heavy might, depending on how the rivalry carries. So I'm not gonna promise it, but I'm not gonna leave it non-existing. I mean, who knows? Maybe I will, just to troll you guys and be like, there's not a War Games happening. Just for the following night, just to announce that there's a War Games happening. But
He's learning so much from me already.
but yeah. Do we have any other questions? Right?
Oh, he's mic'd up, I think. Yeah. Any last questions And before I guess we head it up because it is getting very late.
Okay, what's up, Noah?
Last question of the day because it's getting late.
I mean, I have 5 more minutes, so what did I say about the titles before? I mean,
Quick summary.
I mean, I made mention earlier, but I think Lopez has it recorded. If he did record, Lopez, did you record?
Yes, I'm making sure that nothing has been dropped. Everything is recorded. So, but
Yeah.
I'm
So if
but I'm
anything,
certain no one will watch it because I have said a
all
lot.
right.
Because I did mention it in the BB Direct, and people still asking about it.
Yeah. So if you'd need any backtrack or anything, most likely we've covered it already in the recording. So just play it back whenever Lopez uploads it. Um,
Tomorrow, most likely.
last question would be from Andrew. Should we have more backstage action?
Oh, I don't think I added backstage
I
in the
will.
new arena because it's so
Huh?
big. I don't think there's any backstage in the All Star arena. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I might have to add it now.
I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll have to ask the current arena maker right now because I mean, you never know. We may need the backstage segments, and the new owner in quotations would need a new office. So I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's gonna be just an empty room with your name, with his name on the thing on the table.
um, but yes, if we do have to focus on backstage segments, then we probably would. We won't just leave everything for in the ring. We will develop a story outside of the ring as well, as much as we could. Um, okay. I just like to thank you all for being in attendance, for listening, for everything that we had to talk about and cover. I was happy to answer you guys' questions and everything that you guys needed to know for assurance for this coming Thursday. Hope to see each and every one of you out there because like I say, this is our first show back. We gotta make this count. We gotta do a lot. Um, like I said, champions, if you have any desired matches or championship defenses that you're going to put up because this show is going to be open challenge. I mean, not open challenge, but open booked. Let me know in advance, and I'll let you know what I think on it. And yeah, we got this. This season, we're gonna make it a huge comeback as it pertains to reputation and popularity wise. We're gonna try our best to make our names out there, and we're gonna do hell of a good performance this season. We got this, bro. If anything, we got this, bro. And so before I sign off, I just wanted to leave you guys with a quick spoiler, just in case, you guys are going to watch the Royal Rumble. I just wanted to let you guys know automatically who is going to win the Fatal Four Way for the Universal Championship, and it's
I think it Mike's idea. So I guess I have to take over from
Get
here.
your DraftKings bet ready because this is who is going to retain in the Fatal Four Way. I'm telling you, I'm putting, bro. I would put my house on my tribal chief. This is my tribal chief. Acknowledge my tribal chief. If you don't, you're not on the island of relevancy. It's you the tools, and we the ones.
Well, this is
Have a
getting
good
deleted by YouTube.
Saturday. See you on Sunday. And be prepared for me to spam in the Discord chat when my tribal chief retains his title. I'm telling you, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Good night, guys. Have a good night. Oh, by the way, if you guys play 2K, feel free to hit me up on your PSN account because, like, for real, I trying to play online for real. But like, yeah, let me know. Besides that, feel free to DM me on anything else you guys need. That's it for me for tonight. I'll see you guys later. See you on Thursday.
Bye.